You have noticed that your mind betrays you. You know what you have to do, but you don't do it. You promise to stand firm, but one word, one look, one disappointment, and everything falls apart. He's been told that feeling is okay, that being emotional makes you human. And yes, it does make him human, but it also makes you vulnerable, because whoever controls their emotions controls their destiny, and he who doesn't will be controlled by others. Emotion is the most dangerous weapon, and most don't even know they are using it against themselves. This video is not about eliminating what you feel. It's about learning to master it, to stop reacting, and start responding with strategy. I'm going to teach you the exact process to stop being emotional, not with motivational phrases, but with principles of mind control, discipline, and applied psychology. If you are willing to listen, to question yourself, and face the weakest part of yourself, then stay to the end, because this video won't make you feel better. It will make you stronger. You cannot control something you do not recognize, and that, right there, is the first mistake of the average man. He thinks that having strong emotions makes him human, when in reality, it makes him weak, manipulable, predictable. You can have the most brilliant mind, the most perfect plan, but if your emotional system is fragile, your enemy won't even need to fight. It will be enough to take you out of your center, to provoke you, and you will lose everything you have built. So, the first step to stop being emotional is to recognize your emotional weakness as a disease, one that robs you of energy, focus, and authority. Think about this. How many decisions have you made driven by anger, guilt, or fear? And then, how many of those decisions cost you dearly? It is not about eliminating emotions. It is about taming them, about understanding that an emotion is not a command but a signal. What you feel does not define who you are. What you do in spite of it does. You must learn to observe without reacting. When someone disrespects you, you don't respond with anger. You register. You analyze. You wait for the right moment to make a move. Because an emotional man acts, but a cold man decides. This is where the first principle of control comes in: cognitive distance. Whenever something upsets you, imagine that your mind separates from your body and observes from the outside, as if you see another man dealing with the situation. From that distance, the emotions dissolve because they are no longer yours. They are just data. And when he manages to do it often, something changes. He no longer reacts like the others. He no longer gets upset, no longer breaks down, no longer needs validation. You begin to feel an uncomfortable peace, the peace of control. Calm is the greatest sign of power a man can have. The emotional man seeks quick answers. The strategic man seeks deep understanding. And understanding requires silence, analysis, and time. So, if you want to stop being emotional, the first step is not to control what you feel, but to understand why you feel it. Because the one who understands his emotions is no longer their slave. And he who ignores them is condemned to repeat his misery over and over again, believing that that's life. The first stage, then, is not about suppressing. It is about observing with surgical coldness each emotion until it loses its power. That is the basis of mastery. And without internal mastery, there is no external control. Recognizing his emotional weakness was just the first step. But now comes the hardest part. Because you may be aware of your problem, you may admit that you react with anger, with fear, with anxiety, but that doesn't change the fact that your mind is already programmed to do so. And this is where the second stage comes in: reprogramming your emotional mind. You see, your mind does not act according to logic, but according to repetition. Every thought, every reaction, every emotional pattern is installed in your brain as a path. You have walked it so many times that it has become automatic. So every time someone hurts you, contradicts you, or challenges you, you don't choose how to respond. You respond as you always have. And that keeps you stuck in the same cycle. It's not that you don't have control, it's that your mind went ahead and decided for you. The emotional mind is like a dog off leash. It runs, it barks, it attacks, it panics. And while you try to calm it down, the rational mind, the one that really decides, remains silent, waiting for the chaos to end. So if you want to stop being emotional, you must put your mind on a leash. You must train it until it obeys. How do you do that? First, by interrupting the pattern. Whenever you feel a strong emotion, anger, anxiety, frustration, don't act on it. Stop. Breathe. Literally count to 5. During those seconds, your mind resets. And each time it does, it weakens the old path. It begins to build a new path, one where you decide. But this is not accomplished with simple motivational phrases. Reprogramming requires consistency and, above all, daily mental training. That means exposing yourself to pain without reacting. It means remaining silent when you want to scream. It means listening without interrupting, even if your ego squirms inside. Because every time you don't react, you train. And every training brings him closer to absolute control. Every time he keeps silent, he's winning a battle that no one else sees. However, there is one thing most never understand. You can't reprogram your mind if you keep feeding the same stimuli. If you consume emotional noise, if you live in drama, if you surround yourself with people who live in chaos, your mind will continue to be a reflection of all that. What goes in shapes what comes out. So the next step is to design your environment as a mental training ground. It's not just about having discipline, it's about protecting your focus. Cut distracting music, eliminate emotionally saturating content, and reduce social noise. Every stimulus is a command to your subconscious, and your subconscious doesn't question, it just obeys. So if you want a cool, stable, unwavering mind, you must feed it with the same silence, structure, strategy. The environment you tolerate is the reflection of the mind you build. But here's an uncomfortable truth: reprogramming hurts. Because you're killing versions of you that you've defended for years. That version that needed attention. The one that reacted out of fear of losing. The one that got upset because you wanted to be right. All of that must die. And that death is not quick. It is slow, methodical, but necessary. Because in the end, what is reborn is not someone without emotions. It is someone who feels but does not let himself be governed. Who observes the storm but does not move with it. Self-control is not coldness, it is freedom. In this second stage, you begin to notice the change. Things that used to affect you no longer move you the same way. You begin to feel a strange kind of calm. A calm that most people won't understand, and so they will call you aloof. But you will know the truth. You are not aloof, you are in control. And when control becomes natural, you are ready for the third stage, using your coolness as a weapon. Because a man without control destroys himself. But a man who masters his emotions can destroy anyone. At this point, you are no longer the same. You have recognized your emotional weakness. You have learned to train your mind. But now it's time to turn that coolness into a real advantage. Because controlling your emotions is not just about feeling better. It's about winning. And winning requires strategy. Most people react. You observe. Most people argue. You analyze. Most get out of control. You wait. That waiting is not passivity. It is mastery. And that mastery gives you a strength that others do not understand. The power of silence. The most dangerous man is not the one who shouts. It's the one who doesn't react. You see, coolness is not about eliminating your emotions. It's about using them to your advantage. When someone provokes you, you turn anger into focus. When you feel fear, you translate it into preparedness. When something hurts you, you turn it into momentum. You don't repress anything. You channel everything. That's what separates the weak from those who lead. Because while others are lost in their own emotional noise, you follow the plan. And that plan is your weapon. A cold man thinks clearly. He sees what others don't. He anticipates. He manipulates the rhythm. And acts only when he knows the blow will be definitive. Do not strike first. Make the other destroy himself. But remember something, coldness without purpose is just emptiness. It must have direction. A goal that justifies control. Because if you don't have a why, discipline becomes torture. That's why this stage isn't just about mastering your mind. It's about turning that mastery into strategic action. In business, in relationships, in leadership, in whatever war you face, you must move with intent. You must think like a general, not a soldier. And here comes the final principle. Emotion reacts, strategy rules. Anytime you act from emotion, you will lose accuracy. Every time you act from strategy, you gain ground. This is how you build the mindset that others cannot read. The one that does not allow itself to be affected. The one that intimidates without saying a word. Your calmness will be what will confuse others the most. And if you've made it this far, you already know. The path of coolness is not for everyone. It's for those who are willing to stop being impulsive and start being relentless. Now, if you want to take this mindset to the next level, if you want to train yourself to think like a strategist, master your emotions and build a war-proof mind, then this channel is for you. Subscribe to Shelby Strategy and start forging the most dangerous version of yourself. Not the most emotional one. Not the most positive. The most controlled. It got to the point where most give up. Most believe that coolness is something you get once, that it is enough to understand it. But you already know, the mind is not conquered once, it is conquered every day. Every morning is a silent war between what you feel and what you know you must do. between what you want and what you need. And in that war, only those who do not betray themselves win. Discipline is doing the right thing even when you feel the opposite. The man who masters his emotions does not deny them. He uses them. He understands them as a map, not as a command. He knows that sadness shows him where he has lost. That anger shows him where he still hurts. And that fear shows him where there is still growth. But he never allows an emotion to tell him who he is. That's why the last stage is all about one thing: keeping control in the midst of chaos. You can have everything planned, everything measured, everything under control, and still the world is going to hit you. That doesn't change. But now you don't respond like you used to. You don't fall apart. You don't look for blame. You don't need anyone to understand. You just adjust your strategy and keep going. The weak seek validation. The strong seek results. That's the moment where it stops being emotional and becomes dangerous, because others will continue to act from reaction while you act from structure. Your every move will be calculated, every word measured, every decision premeditated, and that generates something that cannot be bought or taught: respect. Respect not because you shout louder, but because your silence outweighs anyone's voice. And that is what defines the unbreakable man. Does not need the world to recognize him, only needs to comply with his own code. Don't say he changed. Make others notice you without saying a word. So remember this: emotional control is not about eliminating what you feel, but about not letting anything you feel control you. That's the real power. The one that is not shown. The one that is not presumed. The one that is simply noticed. And when that day comes, when chaos is in front of you and your mind is still steady, you will know that you are not acting from fear, but from strategy. You don't kill your emotions. You train them. You make them soldiers of your purpose. And when that happens, no one can stop you. In the end, he who does not master his emotions will be mastered by them.